Yo, what up? One of these days I'm gonna have to get like a long enough transition so that I can do like a sliding opening and just be like, hey. Oh boy, we're in it to win it. We are on day 3 of, I guess, a non-sequitur show countdown. May 11th, we have a court hearing with one Kyle Russell Curtis, and it is a contempt hearing to show why he is not in contempt. So we've been going through all of the nonsense. Oh, did I actually hit the go button? I might not have hit the go button. So he can show exactly why he's not in contempt. This court case has been going on since August 23rd, 2019. And everybody is just waiting for that closure. There it is. Just waiting for that closure. Today we are looking at 18, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, where Kyle comes in. I do believe we are covering these 3 today because Kyle's letter is pretty long from what I recall. Maybe we'll get a little bit further, but we'll see, because I have another stream later today talking about the cancel culture of everybody getting mad. Everybody in the New Atheist Plus community, snowflakes, getting mad that Richard Dawkins started a conversation that I guess nobody's allowed to have. Anyway, let's take a look at what we got in 18 here. Episode 3, Kyle enters the game. Really, really late. One Warped Angel for $19.99. Just wanted to say good afternoon. Oh, thank you, and good afternoon to you also. I hope everybody's having a good day. I hope everybody has a good weekend. I'm gonna be here doing... This is 58 pages. This is why we're only covering 3 today. Kyle's letter is 58 pages long. Oh, I cry. It's okay. Oh, my wine is not within reach. What have I done? Alright, let's I feel like I should have come up with better titles for these. Numbers. Okay, case number 19. Oh, let's zoom this in once or twice. That should be good. There you go. You guys can see that okay, right? Do I have to... no, I don't want to do that. I don't want to have to... Oh, there we go. That'll do, donkey. There we go. Yeah, you guys might not remember. This was 58 pages long when it came out. And is still 58 pages long because why would it change? Oh. Oh dear. Okay. Case number 2019 CV8163 ECF number 17 McRae versus Curtis. Compliance to the order. Oh yeah. This is the... Okay, so I'll give you guys like a brief TLDR before we get into this because it's just gonna get worse. This is Kyle's... I'm complying with you, but here's my letter complying to you telling you I'm not complying. Alright, compliance to the order, Monday, the 3rd February 2020. Case number 2019 CV8163 ECF number 17, State of North Carolina, Guilford County, Stephen McRae, plaintiff versus Kyle Russell Curtis, defendant. Attention to Jane Selgale and Scott Brown, which is, if I'm not mistaken, this was Steve's lawyer. Dear sir, please find and close the materials regarding the above case as ordered. Yours sincerely, Kyle Curtis. What a lovely signature, Kyle. Table of contents, overview and the partnership tasks. 2, administration logins and passwords. 3, revenue. 4, operating expenses. 5, Kyle Curtis design services. 6, management accounts 2017, 2018, 2019. 7, copyright Kyle Curtis designed. 8, appendices, receipts, revenue accounts, and copyright. Oh, I don't know if I'm ready for this level of cringe. Patience. Bless. Overview and the partnership tasks. This document is the defendant's response to the above referenced court order. It provides... You mean the court order that the court mailed to him at Pleasant Garden? That court order? Never mind. I'm sure that's not important. This document is the defendant's response to the above referenced court order. It provides the information ordered, which includes the management accounts, revenue, operating expenses, and a simple assets and liability schedule. I should get a Gobbo bless. I need to make a new one. I feel like the yelling goblin is the goblin. As the court noted, plaintiff and defendant entered into a verbal business agreement to host a social entertainment podcast and YouTube channel, the channel known as the Non Sequitur Show, Non Sequitur, a court order dated 01/23/2019. Oh, don't change around your dating schema halfway through. Okay. Or right at beginning back, whatever. America needs to stop dating things month, day, year. It's really frustrating. The financial condition of the partnership also considers the costs required to both operate and maintain the partnership. This includes work completed by the defendant beyond the hosting of the show. These operating costs are considered mandatory for the success and operation of the partnership. This includes items like the defendant's copyrighted works, branding tasks, and other business-related items. I can't be not biased. This is hilarious. The defendant has provided references to the world's best practices for a YouTube channel that were adopted in the partnership's development and implementation of the mandatory creative branding tasks and marketing programs that the defendant undertook in furtherance of the partnership. Summary of financials. Non sequitur summary management accounts December 2017 to January 2020. Year. Number of shows 2017 0. If there weren't any shows in the month of December, why are there operating expenses? Some Americans should stop dating relatives too. Ink Boy, please. Oh, my brain doesn't want to read this again. I can tell. I'm trying to avoid it. Okay. 2017. Number of shows, 0. Total revenue, 0. Total operating expenses, $350. Total, $350. Year, 2018, 342 shows. Total revenue, $21,255.85. Total operating expenses, $41,465.38. So total is in the negative $20,209.53. 2019 to 2020, 206 shows, $27,902.87. Total operating expenses was $27,195.28. The total revenue being a positive $707.59. The total number of shows overall was 548 shows. Total revenue was $49,158.72. Total operating expenses was $69,010.66, meaning that the show's total is at a net negative of $19,851.95. Oh. Kyle Curtis design outstanding invoice total. $19,851.95. Refer to 6 management accounts 2017, 2018, and 2019 operating expenses. Alright, so keep this little chart in mind. I guess that it's going to be explained later. I don't know why you would want to separate these things. You would think that you would want to show the management accounts and then have your reasoning around that expense in the same spot, but you know, whatever. Copyright. All thumbnails, logos, images, website images, music, and templates are 2017, 2018, and 2019 copyright Kyle Curtis Designs. I'm pretty sure there was a check that was done when this was put up, and there is no Kyle Curtis Design copyright, like in the copyright system, but the defendant is prepared to negotiate a fee for use of his copyright material. Alternatively, the plaintiff, on receipt of the channel and associated platform administration access logins, the documents, is to immediately remove all of the defendant's copyright materials from the channel's websites and merchandise. Please refer to 8 Appendix 2, Kyle Curtis Design, for hard copies of all copyright material and links to music and video files. And then there's a fucking YouTube screenshot. Like, there's a picture of YouTube, and then this is a separate thing. Like, if I try to highlight this, it's not gonna. This is a picture that was put in, and then this was typed off to the side of it. What does copyright protect? If you are the author of an original fixed and creative work like a song, a video photograph, or poem, then you may own a copyright in that work. If someone posts a copy of your creation on YouTube without permission, then you can request its removal. Hosting tasks and tasks required to produce, market, and run a show and channel. Based on the uncontested complaint and affidavit, the court finds the fact that, oh, by the way, please note that Kyle has submitted this, and nowhere so far have we heard that he hasn't received service. Just noting that. Nowhere is he saying he didn't know he had gotten served. Based on the uncontested complaint and the affidavit, the court finds as fact that a plaintiff... Oh, I need to scroll. Why would you do this? Oh, God. Was there more up here that I missed? Oh, this is just horribly laid out for some reason. Oh, why? Okay, well, whatever. I'm just going to... Plaintiff and defendant entered into a verbal business agreement to host social entertainment podcast and YouTube channel, the channel known as the Non-Sequitur Show, Non-Sequitur, from which both plaintiff and defendant would divide potential proceeds equally. Then the reference for renewed motion default JXA affidavit of Stephen McRae, paragraph 5 and 7, affidavit ECF number 14. Quote, verbal business agreement to host. Divide potential proceeds equally. We understand to mean divide EBITDA equally as per standard business and accounting practices within a partnership. Oh, God. Hosting tasks and McRae and Curtis, others within the partnership. Others within the partnership? So there was a partnership of more than... Does Kyle owe money to other people now? No. Applicable fee, no, because he just decided no. Show hosting, yes. Guest sourcing, yes. Guest booking and scheduling, yes. Required pre-show. Research for show topic, yes. Marketing, Twitter, Facebook, blogs, other social media, yes. Guest appearance on other shows, not for each show. Applicable fee, no. Delivered by Curtis, yes. Delivered by McRae, yes. So there's no applicable fee for any of these, but they've both done them, so there is no fee among them. McRae did not host all shows, but shares in all profit. Some guests show appearances on other channels, marketing. What is this? I don't understand. It says others within the partnership, but then also only lists Kyle and Steve. And then there's no applicable fee for any of these things. Marketing and other social media would be like, the thumbnails are marketing. Golden Unicorn for 5 says, it's like he switched to next BS when he realized that this BS wasn't flying by the judge. I don't understand this. I just don't understand what this is supposed to be showing. I guess it's it's showing that both of them did it, so what is he supposed to be pointing out other than Steve didn't host in all the shows, but shares in all the profit? Oh, okay. Hosts of the Non Sequitur Show, total 548 shows. Kyle, Steve, Caitlin Chloe, Katie Poulsen, Shannon Q, and Godless Engineer. Well, these are some people that you've added into this lawsuit, apparently. Considering that none of these 4 were kicked off the channel, I wonder why only this guy was, and what any of these people may or may not have had to do with that. Why only this person? Also, what about Boole? Operating expensive. Why did he also use like... Oh, it's got the number. Kyle has hosted 319 episodes. Steve has hosted 308 episodes. So the difference is 11 episodes? That's it? Caitlin Chloe hosted 170 episodes. Katie Joy Poulsen hosted in 163 episodes. Shannon Q hosted 157 episodes. And Godless Engineer hosted 157 episodes. Hey, I hosted an episode. Don't I count? I took Steve's spot because Kyle scheduled around him when he was busy. I stepped in to save the day. Operating expenses. Blah, 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 blah. How pissed would Katie get if she had to relive this part of her life again? Oh, well, I mean, it's not like it's gone away yet. It's not like she's actually managed to deal with anything in a way that would actually settle an issue and have it go away. Production tasks required for high-quality branding, production, and optimizing views for each show and channel not within the partnership tasks. The following tasks are required to be undertaken or goods/services provided for any YouTube show. They can be either outsourced or done in-house. I don't think he understands what done in-house means if he's charging somebody for the work he's doing in-house. That's not how that works. Pre-show, unique high-impact thumbnail design. I don't know if you guys have looked at my thumbnail for the next video I'm doing after this one, but it is fugly. It's just a mess. It's just a mess. I just wanted Rafiki in it, and because I wanted Rafiki in it, it just... Okay. Music. Create template. I could do a template for you guys right now and show you how to make one. Show production, which was being done by Boole. Patron ticker update. That's automatic. Unless you decide to make it not automatic for some reason. Add window animations. Also, that is a slideshow. See this? That's what that is. Except having it advertisements. Or you could have like a scrolly one that goes along the bottom. I chose that one. Because I'm not going to have art slide across. That would make no sense. Now streaming video. Oh, okay. Okay. Intro video loaded. End screen graphics. Oh, you mean like this? That kind of end screen graphics. Upcoming shows graphic. Oh, you mean like this one? This kind of upcoming show graphic? Like that? I can't. Video SEO and metadata. Metadata is interesting that I don't know very much about, so I don't know how much actually goes into it outside of tags and like hashtags and tags at the bottom. That I'm not 100% sure. Podcast cover art. Oh, okay. Stream graphics per topic. Guest presentation formatting. What? You mean like where they go on the screen? YouTube to podcast. That actually takes some work, because you have to, that takes, it's more time consuming than anything else, basically what you need to do if you're going to transfer it to a podcast is you need to download the initial video, then you need to edit out whatever additional stuff you don't want in it, and then you need to process it into like an MP3 or whatever and then upload it. It's not that difficult, but it's not, it's time consuming, if that makes sense. Guest biographics. Oh, shut the fuck up. That's so, guest biographics. You mean take a screenshot of somebody's Twitter and just have it fade in and fade out about who they are? Shut up. Required per show, yes. Now streaming video is not something that needs to, it's something that happens every show, but isn't something you need to make for every show. You weren't sitting there creating a new song for every show for music. You weren't creating a new template for every single show. The show production was something that was set up ahead of time, so most of this stuff only needed to be done once. And then unless you were going to make a change to it. And then if you made a change to it, there was a change. But this is just bullshit. Applicable fee, yes. Why? If you did them in-house, Kyle, because you were a partner, which is what in-house means, there wouldn't be a charge. Delivered by Curtis, delivered by McCrae. Production for some shows was outsourced. Is that Bool? Is this the Bool? The thing is that the show production, this part, half of the show production part is the pre-production stuff where you have Kyle saying, here's this, and then it all needs to be put together in. So if there's any change that gets made, it's a giant big deal. And of course, as we know, Kyle was giving things last minute, so all of that work was getting thrown onto somebody else. It wasn't even it. Kyle charged himself a fee. Yes. I don't know if you guys remember when this came out, but the big thing that I had said when this came out was like, no, Judge, I wasn't committing fraud on Steve over here. I was too busy committing this fraud over here, which is basically embezzlement. He is embezzling Non Sequitur Show by charging himself for work that nobody else approved. I don't know. Helios asks, wasn't the podcast version of Non Sequitur Show not edited, so the audio was the same regardless if you watch it on YouTube or listen to the podcast? So I do know that Steve, when he was doing it, I don't know if he did it the whole time, but I do know that when Steve told me that when he was doing it, there was editing. He would edit out pauses and lots of ums and stuff, and so it would just make the podcast sound a lot smoother than the live stream. I don't know if Kyle then took it over and then didn't do that additional work. I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't, and the podcast started sounding like trash. And then like you want to do the compression and you want to equalize it, etc., etc., etc. Did Kyle submit time cards? Did he have a cover page on his TPS reports? Listen, you're asking the real questions. All right, operating expenses, other production tasks, channel, and other marketing. Graphics, merchandise graphics, logo design, relaunches. You use Teespring. Teespring is free. Channel banner design. Oh. Social media avatars, social media banners, website graphics. So I don't know if you guys know, but I actually did a painting of Kyle that he asked me to do. I didn't get paid for that. Should I have? Apparently, I can retroactively charge him 20 grand. Website graphics. Video production, intro videos, end screen videos. You can't say intro and end screen videos down here and also have it up here. End screen and now streaming video. Those are the same thing. You douchebag. Music, exclusive track production, podcast bumper music. You already said music up here. You don't. Merchandise and graphics. You already have this crap in your. Oh dear. You just double dip much? Required. Yes. Okay, so here's the thing. Having a high production show is nice, but not necessary. There's not a whole lot of production that's going into what I'm doing right now. I mean, it's not very, I know I'm only supposed to be reading this, but I feel obligated to sort of explain. The Goblin is something that is fun. I have fun putting the Goblin in different positions. I have fun putting the Goblin eating a giant bagel this big or sitting in a cup of tea. I have fun doing those things. These are things that are like people's ideas or my ideas that I bring up and then turn into things that are usable. They're not just, oh god, no, I have to do this because I'm the artist for this company. That is not the case. This is my channel. I can't retroactively charge myself for my own channel work and then put that on my taxes that I'm at a detriment because I way overcharged for the amount of work I was doing for whatever money I'm bringing in. Are the t-shirts where he spelled atheist wrong still available? They might be worth money if the case becomes more widely known. It's a good question. I do enjoy the pair of socks. I think that's my favorite. Applicable fees. Yes. Delivered by Curtis. Yes. Delivered by McRae. No. Bruh. Sounds like Kyle is triple dipping. Partner, employee, and independent contractor. Yes, the Dark Magician makes a very good point. Administration, logins, and passwords. Oh god, I need to start speeding up because I've been kind of speaking a little bit slow and sort of stopping to explain things because this is so absurdly ridiculous, but we're only on page 7. So I have over 50 pages to go, so I'm gonna go a little bit, Wait, you don't redraw the animated fire goblin each sew? No. No. I did it once. I don't even have, if I were to do it again, like if I needed to do it again, I would have to do it from scratch because I don't have that goblin anymore. I'd have to make it again. Administration logins and passwords. It is therefore adjusted, ordered, and decreed that a defendant shall return administrative control and primary ownership rights of the Non-Sequitur podcast, YouTube channel, and other accounts associated with the party's business endeavor to plaintiff. The plaintiff has released videos of private messages of the defendant in the past. So, okay. Due to the personal messages within the following accounts, the defendant will be deleting the Non-Sequitur Twitter account as of the date of this letter, as the Twitter account also contains private messages. This is a simple account to reestablish and does not affect the operations of any channel's functions. That's just a lie. On a lot of accounts. I'll let you guys count. Non-Sequitur Discord server is a fan page not set up or administrated by the defendant. The defendant has no administration or login details for the site. So not true. YouTube, a link will be sent to the plaintiff's email address to hold primary ownership of on filing these documents. The defendant will provide evidence via a screenshot to the plaintiff's lawyer and the court that the link has been sent to the plaintiff. The process to establish primary ownership requires that the link be sent from Creator Studios within YouTube. The defendant will retain access to the channel as a 50-50 partner. And then here's the platform and the username, and then the passwords. He publicly posted the passwords that he's supposed to be handing over. Here's the thing, though. This is not true, because he can just give Steve the non sequitur YouTube. He doesn't have to email it back and forth. That's not necessary. That's necessary if you want to change. He can just give him the passwords. It doesn't have to change. There's so much wrong with this whole bit. I don't have time. Revenue shown within the profit and loss okay, no, I'm going back. Okay, I need to explain this. So we'll be deleting the non sequitur Twitter account. Okay, so he deleted it for a short period of time and then brought it back and changed the handle. So what that does is that retains all of the followers, which is media, which is notifying that I use Twitter to notify you guys that I'm going live and having streams. And so it's the same thing for non sequitur. All of the followers are no longer getting notified for non sequitur stuff because he didn't delete it and let it die. He deleted it, brought it back and changed the @ handle, so he carried over all of those followers. I don't necessarily think that the Twitter account is that big of a deal, although I am curious what private messages may or may not be stored in there. It might be a little spicy, there might be a bit of tea in there, but this is just not only, I don't know if this was a preconceived lie, like if he deleted it and then if he said this with the plan of deleting it and then changing then bringing it back and changing the handle, or if it just turned out to not be true because he ended up deciding to do this. That I don't know, but I can tell you what did happen and the consequences of those things and why it actually does affect operations of any channel's functions. It doesn't stop anything that's happening on YouTube per se, but it does inhibit Steve from letting people who were following on Twitter know about anything that was going on. So, bullshit. I'm not going to go over the Discord server too much, but Boole had most of the administrative rights for that, and then it was taken away from him. So the only person that could do that was Kyle. Now, I don't know who currently has control over that. It may be the case that he passed it off to somebody else, but that's still his responsibility, so it doesn't matter. And it was a fan page that he was in, Boole ran, and Steve was also in. Like, he hosted things he's been hosting things since then, in there to talk about these updates and stuff, so. Intrigueline says, either way, that alone would be civil contempt. For the Twitter, yes, that would be contempt. Because he was ordered to hand it over. So deleting it doesn't, here's the thing, if you're dumb enough to have private and personal information in it, like, so let's say he's got like a dick pic. If he's got a dick pic like a personal dick pic to somebody and he has to turn that, it's not his account. Because he treated it as if it was his account doesn't mean it was his account, which means whatever private information. So, okay, Helios, Demi did not get the non sequitur Twitter. She got non sequitur the handle. So when Kyle brought it back and changed it, she snatched it up. Now, whether or not there's collusion in there, I don't know. So she has the so @nonsec or whatever it is. But he carried over because all he did was change the handle. So she's got the handle and he's got the account and followers. If that makes sense. I mean, I guess any picture of Kyle is a dick pic. Revenue. Revenue shown within the profit and loss management accounts is from the following downloaded reports: YouTube All Revenue, Patreon, Teespring, Streamlabs. Yeah, that's not the books. That's not okay. These reports are contained within the management account section within Appendix and can be accessed via online logins provided, which you made public, and they didn't work anyway. Luckily, I guess. I wonder if the old Twitter messages are archived in backups at Twitter. I don't know. Oh, hey, Sly. Use of plaintiff's Patreon account January 2018 and February 2018. The plaintiff's Patreon account was used in the initial months of operation, and the defendant has no visibility of the monies received. The defendants request the plaintiffs to provide those figures as monies earned by him and has highlighted this discrepancy in 6 management accounts 2017, 2018, and 2019. Operating expenses and assets. Excuse me. Operating expenses within the profit and loss management accounts are supported by invoices or receipts where possible. So he's got no receipts for, his own charging of himself to the business as a contractor, even though he's a partner. Yeah. Assets and liabilities are shown in a simple table. No depreciation of assets has been undertaken. Kyle Curtis design invoices. The defendant provided hosting services free of charge as per the verbal agreement, orders, and shown in task schedule 1.3a. Hosting services? Is he talking about the website? The list of tasks required to launch a channel, brand a channel, and produce artwork and music for each show were performed by the defendant or where indicated outsourced. Task schedule 1.3b, without those tasks being performed, there would have been no shows produced, and the quality of all the necessary branding would have been subpar against normal YouTube creator recommendations. Uh-oh. Kyle Curtis designs invoices to the partnership. Acting in good faith as a contractor and partner, the defendant undertook the many necessary functions as documented in reference 1.3b, hosting tasks and tasks required to brand, produce, market, and produce a show and channel. Oh dear. C. Defendant told plaintiff that in order to increase traffic on the channel, plaintiff would need to give administrative access and rights to the channel to defendant affidavit paragraph 11. The Inkboy asked, did Kyle pay taxes for Non-Sequitur Show and for his second firm where he got a lot for Non-Sequitur Show? Good question. No idea. Rodent says, would deleting the Twitter be considered destroying evidence if criminal charges are brought up? Maybe. The evidence is clear that the defendant delivered the mandatory design, music, and video production and branding work as shown to increase traffic to the channel. Administrative access was required to undertake those tasks as listed to ensure success of the channel and increase views per show. At no time did plaintiff object to these tasks being undertaken or the quality of the delivered result. The fuck does that have to do with this? The defendant invested a significant time in his commercial... Remember, this was submitted by Kyle. I don't know if... Okay, whatever. The defendant invested significant time in his commercial design skills and experience to the channel and all shows by creating all images and music for the channel. For each show and associated sites, a web pages, social media, and merchandising, including those services listed. The defendant accrued the costs of performing these services as a shareholder loan to the show and is a creditor of the channel/partnership and granted a license of use to the partnership. That's not how any of this works. The pricing for these services has been based on a significant discount on average market rates from external contractors and the defendant's normal commercial hourly rate on a per-show basis, and as services rendered. It was never stated by the plaintiff that these services were not to be provided free of charge, or were to be provided free of charge by the defendant and as ordered fall outside of the partnership. That's not what that says at all. Oh no. They are commercial invoices for services rendered and are now due for payment. Common business practice. In most startup business ventures, the services, he's explaining startup businesses to a business court. Oh no. And the good old hockey game is the best game you can name. The best game you can name is good old hockey game. Okay. In most startup business ventures, the service that are provided are either paid for on presentation of invoice by external contractor or treated as accrued liability to be paid when profits allow or address by issue/increase of equity if provided by a shareholder or partner. Sweat equity. This is a standard business practice in startup ventures. Okay, sure, but not without the owner knowing. You can't still just charge yourself for your... Oh god. Oh, no. Okay. The defendant has provided the details of calculations and hard copies of external source quotes to reach the charge per show for his services. These are all things you needed to talk about if you were going to charge for them before you did them. And has provided the calculations and itemized invoices for the period. These services did not fall within the terms of partnership as ordered to host. So, I would like to point out that this probably should have been his response before the default, not after the default. Just saying. Remember, this is after he failed to respond. Keep in mind that he was served on August 28th, 2019. He hasn't... This is his response in February of 2020. After the default. So you do the math. The defendant is unaware of any services as listed outside of the to-host services provided by the plaintiff and requests details of such services and their costs to be added to the management reports. Based on best world practices and YouTube Creator Academy recommendations, the finished product delivered and services provided were required, necessary, and added significant value to the channel and its success. The defendant can... If anybody has seen my prequel, you can see him talking about this stuff there, so I would recommend checking that out. The defendant can, if required, provide further external references to blogs and videos of best practices for a successful YouTube channel. Dude, bro, send me that link. I need that, apparently. The defendant expended considerable time in designing and implementing these necessary mandatory images, branding, and music. There was no agreement that these services were part of his role within the partnership or were free of charge. If you did them when nobody asked, and you didn't say you were charging for them, it is implied that you did them without doing so. Otherwise, I get to backcharge you for the art that I did for funsies. The defendant designed the unique custom thumbnails, the music, and the templates for screen layouts for all shows of the channel and for associated social media and merchandising and logos. You know, the stuff that he had to do every stream that he didn't have to do every stream. YouTube practices graphics, music, and production. YouTube Creator Academy. Thumbnails are usually the first thing a viewer sees when they find one of your YouTube videos, and 90% of the best performing videos on YouTube have custom thumbnails. All non-sequitur shows have custom unique thumbnails and associated artwork and logos designed, owned by the defendant. All shows have music created and owned by the defendant. YouTube marketing, link. How to promote your YouTube channel to maximize viewers link. But these have, I don't know if these, hold on, I want to see if this works. How do I give me this. Give me just this. Okay, let me see. I want to see where this goes, if anywhere. Hey! Hey guys, you guys want to learn how to run non sequitur? Free templates. How to use YouTube for business. All those templates he made? I wonder. I don't know, man. Hey, okay, you know what? I'm gonna save that for later. I want to read that later. This is now of personal interest. How to promote your YouTube channel to maximize views. Yeah, whatever. Why choosing the right thumbnail on YouTube is so important. YouTube strategies, the importance of custom thumbnails, video marketing thumbnails, the importance of little things. He was very focused on thumbnails. Bruh. Pre-show costs, all shows, operating expenses. External contractor average rate for tasks for each show and channel, 2 hours. $200 to $300. Refer to attached external contractor hourly rate and packages. Kyle Curtis design cost rates for tasks for each show and channel, $120. Services provided in good faith as at a significant discount to average market rates to support the partnership. To average, so he normally charges like extravagant costs, and so he brought it down to average. Other tasks, channel and show operating expenses. These operating expenses are included in the $100 per show expense. Merchandise, graphics, logo design, and relaunches. He's charging for any relaunches, so anytime that like the smoking nun was used, he's charging it again. Excuse me. Sorry, this is so ridiculous, it's giving me indigestion. Merchandise graphics, logo designs and relaunches, channel banner design, social media avatars, social media banners, website graphics. Wait. Social media avatars. Hold on. So Kyle is charging redesigns for his own social media avatars that he's choosing to change as many times. How many did he do for himself and how many did he do for Steve? Steve! I need to know how many times he changed your guy and how many times he's charging himself for changing his own avatar. His own personal Twitter avatar. Get out of here. $100, $50, 25, 50. He charged, okay, quantity 22,48484. $2,200, $400, $200, $400, and $200. Video production, video intro videos, $150, did 12 of them, $1,800. End screen videos, $35, did 30 of them, $1,050. Music, exclusive track production, $300, 24, $7,200. Podcast bumper music, $300, did 6, $1,800. Total for the period, $15,250. Bruh. All costs shown are based on a significant discount to market rates for services. Other tasks have been amortized, there we go, through the discount rate per show of $120. External design services, services contractor quotes. Average hourly rate for designs and service, graphics, and music is $1,000 to $150 per hour. Average time per show on design production is 2 hours, $200 to $300 per show. Indicatively, just the custom thumbnails market rate is $60 to $80 per thumbnail. Defendant invoiced the partnership for all costs at $120 per show. Includes all custom thumbnails, templates, show art, external media, merchandising, and web artwork, and music and video clip production. And here's people that are podcast recording, copyright packages, branding packages, $140 per hour. So basically this is some people's LinkedIn for art directors. Art directing is not the same as just doing the art. Oh, God. Cover design. Yeah, $750 for social media monthly. That's a month. That's okay. All right. Music production market rate quotes. These are all just, yeah, okay. Licensed studio series use. So to use all of them is $249. This one says, oh God, these are hard to read. Oh God, this one's $11.95. I can't with this. I can't with this nonsense. Plaintiff's approval of production tasks and payment of invoices. Kyle Curtis Designs. Access to the original emails and metadata available on request. Hey, you notice that he said that he didn't want Steve to get the Twitter because Steve has shown private messages between the two people? So what? It's not a good reason for you not to have to hand over something that doesn't belong to you. Hey, I stole your priceless Bible that's 100 years old and is worth a ton of money, but I took a crayon and I drew some dicks in it, but those are my dicks, and because you've talked to other people, you can't have it because I drew dicks in it. It's mine now. Steve says on March 28th, 2018, I told you I can't make over a certain amount or I lose medical, which is why I wanted to look it over. Steve, oh yeah, oh God, you remember this. This is the stuff Katie was complaining about, and so was GE and Casey and all that group of people. He needs to know how much he's making so he knows where to go and what he needs to do to get his medical taken care of. That he never ended up using. Weird. Steve, take a draw if you need funds. We have Streamlabs, PayPal, T-shirts, Patreon. If you have the numbers so you know what we pulled in so far. I'm getting with David Boole tomorrow, and we are setting up a merch storefront. So this shows that Steve and Boole both did merchandising stuff, but Kyle only listed himself. Steve, actually, first month or so, you should some of your investment costs. I'm totally okay with that if we start getting more Patreon and Super Chats. Your invested cost. Your invested cost could mean that, hey, you need some extra cash for your... If I bought a new tablet, and I was using that tablet, and Steve and I were working together on a show, then there's a decent chance Steve would either send me the money, or if I had access to the money, he would say it's okay for me to drop $500 or something to upgrade my tablet, especially if my tablet broke. That would make sense. That would be an if I needed a new computer, I would be okay for me to pull $1,000 or $500 to update or upgrade my computer as necessary, because it's a necessity. It's an invested cost to get the show going. What he's listing in those things are not your invested cost. Jesus. Steve, take out like $100 to $200 to reimburse yourself. Reimburse. Yes, $100 to $200, not $15,000. What are you talking? These are not even close to representing what he's saying. I'm sure we will make a few $100s easily when Super Chats arrive. Yeah, he's talking about a couple $100, not tens of thousands. Plaintiff's approval of quality of production tasks, access to original emails and metadata available on request. Good thumb for Trader's Coin Show. Yeah. Did you see the thumb for tomorrow? Yes, I did. Very good. I will contact Gempand in the morning and make sure he is still good to go. He should be, of course, very good. That's my most favorite thumb. It's really good. Really good. No, why is he so obsessed to say that Steve liked my thumbnails? Nobody cares. Oh my God. The most beautiful thumb I've ever made. LOL, I love it. Love it. You changed it yet? Yup. I love that thumb so much. A+++++. Like that. That's a hell of a layout if I say so. This is such a bad way to do layouts, by the way. I've done a couple. I did a couple for Steve, and I absolutely hated this way. I hate this way of doing layouts. It drives me nuts. Also, this, you make one and you copy and paste it, and then just delete, and then you do this, and then you do this one and you copy paste it across. Unless he's stupid and wasn't copy and pasting it across and was making each individual box and spending 2 hours to make sure they're just exactly the right size. That's a hell of a layout if I say so. Yeah, that is rockin'. That is rockin'. Hey, you notice how Kyle pretty much starts all these conversations talking about how great he is? Except the first one. You fishing for compliments because you're insecure doesn't mean somebody's approving $15,000 worth of work. Also, this is not worth $200. Fuck off. Management accounts 2017 to 2020. Intrigue fine. Do keep in mind that this is all very much one-sided for what is supposed to be a rather neutral, straight to the point, and objective. This is none of that. I agree. I was originally just going to try and read through all these. I can't with this. This is so bad. This is so bad. Alright, I'll go back to just reading and then let you guys discuss it. I'm talking too much. At least I'm getting through it faster now, though. Management account 2017 to 2020. Plaintiff requires access to the financial documents for the channel, including all documentation of amounts collected, in order to be able to determine the amount he is owed. Plaintiff is entitled to access the financial documents associated with Non-Sequitur's financial condition and 50% of Non-Sequitur's proceeds prior to being removed from the channel on June 11, 2019. For full disclosure, the management accounts also include the period from June 11th to end of January 2020, the period after the end of the partnership. Non-sequitur summary management account December 2017 to January 2020 year 2017, 2018, 2019 to 2020. Number of shows 0, number of shows 342, 206, 548 shows total. Total revenue 0. We read this one already. This is the chart we already looked at. So there's it again. Non-sequitur show and profit loss 2017. Nothing in 2017. There's operating expenses that are operating expenses listed as per show cost, Kyle Curtis Designs, $120. Operating expenses, Kyle Curtis Design invoice, producer cost to David Fulton, to Steve, Motion Array Graphics subscription, Adobe subscription, Fireside podcast hosting, one site hosting. So, site hosting, that would be a cost. That I would agree with. I don't know why you need an Adobe subscription or Motion Array graphics. I'm assuming that has something to do with his video graphics, but okay. 300. Oh, all of them were 0 except for the invoices to Kyle. All of these things are listed as 0 over here, and the only one that's listed as a cost is Kyle Curtis Design invoices. $150, $200, $350, total $350. Oh no. Non-sequitur show loss and profits for 2018. YouTube revenue total, Patreon paid to Steve, Teespring actual cumulative total in January 2020, Streamlabs actual. So 2, 9, 27, 24, 28, that's the number of shows. 28, 34, 33, 38, 38, 38, 37, 34, for a total of 342. And then Streamlabs made $40, 00, then $40, then $223, then $430, then $126.9, 33.62, 18.88, 15.22 for a total of $911.40. Teespring, nothing. Patreon was $18.81, then $193.32, 341.90. Okay, so this is a chart that lays out the expenses. I'm going to stop reading through every single one of these. You guys can take a look if you want, but what I do want to point out, I'll just make this a little bit, I'm just going to do this to make it a little bit easier for you guys to see everything. So this is like a spreadsheet. This is, you can make, it's Excel with the cells removed, like the borders removed off the cells. This doesn't actually show anything except Kyle's word for how much was in each of these things. And then these additional operating expenses that, again, are just off of Word. And this is just basically a more complicated layout of where all these costs in his little short chart are, because reading all these numbers is pointless. But basically in 2018, he's using these numbers up here. Where is it? These numbers up here. These here. He's using these numbers up here to justify these numbers down here to justify this layout. All right? If we understand, that's fine. I'll let you guys, if you really want to look at the breakdown, it's mostly just number crunching. There's nothing like terribly ridiculous in here except for the initial, it's just compounding ridiculous. Here's 2018. And here's 2019. Okay. Disclaimer. The management accounts have been prepared based on the information provided by Kyle Curtis. These are not audited accounts. Where possible, hard copies and links to accounts, revenue sources, and operating expenses have been provided. Refer to appendix. Assets and liabilities schedule. Non-sequitur assets and liabilities schedule. Fixed assets. vMix software license, $2,500. Donation made to Kyle Curtis, not non-sequitur show, which turns out to not be the case. Cash at bank, $0. Liabilities, Kyle Curtis Designs, $19,951.95. Outstanding balance, commerce invoice from operating expenses. Commercial invoices from operating expenses. Where's the invoice, though? Like, you know when you... Okay, whatever. It's fine. Copyright Kyle Curtis Designs. It is therefore adjudged, ordered, and decreed that defendant shall return administrative control and primary ownership rights of the Non Sequitur podcast YouTube channel and other accounts associated with parties' business endeavor to plaintiff. The defendant has fully complied with his order. It's 2021, everybody. All thumbnails, logos, images, website images, music, and templates are 2017, 2018, and 2019 copyright Kyle Curtis Designs. The defendant is prepared to negotiate a fee for use of his copyright material. Alternatively, the plaintiff, on receipt of the channel and associated platform administration access logins, this document, is to immediately remove all of the defendant's copyright material from the channels, websites, and merchandise. Please refer to Appendix 2, Kyle Curtis Designs, for hard copies of all copyright material and links to music and video files. Please refer to 8, Appendix 2, for hard copies of all copyright material and music files. Appendix 8, or 8 Appendix. Sorry. I have 8 appendices. Have a good day, Todd. Management accounts, hard copies, reference sources. Kyle Curtis Design copyright materials. Management accounts, hard copies, and reference sources. YouTube, refer to link provided to administration login passwords rounded up in management accounts. And again, we're back to just a spreadsheet of something that has no information. Like, we can't, there's based on Kyle's word. Patreon revenue. So what he's essentially saying is that here's my number crunching. I gave you the logins to go and look at whether or not these numbers are accurate. Except the logins didn't work. and he made them public so they would be useless anyway. Teespring revenue link, refer to link provided into administration login and passwords. Note Teespring annualizes a cumulative total in January of 2020, $1,717.66. Streamlabs revenue link provided, blah, blah, blah. Here's again, it's just a spreadsheet with numbers plugged into it. Number of shows per month, oh my fucking god. 1 video, 2 videos, 3 videos. Alright. Dude, none of this is 86 uploads in these 6 months. Why did you divide it by... Okay, so he did. He split it in half. 86 in this 6 months, 209 in this 6 months, 213 in this 6 months, 137 in this 6 months, and 8 uploads in this 6 months, and it's December 2017 to May of 2018, and then May to October, and then October to March, and then March to August, and then August to January. Why did you go December to May? Whatever. Okay, I'm picking on this. I need to stop picking on this. Kyle Cutter's design copyright. The following materials is all copyright Kyle Cutter's designs 2017 to 2019. Video file links can be provided. Okay. It's the video and music that he put together for the show. Actually, I wonder if we can... Oh, whatever. All music created in 2019, copyright Curtis. So here's Spotify, artist Non-Sequitur. Which is funny that I haven't seen that Spotify in a while. I wonder if the name got changed. Copyright Kyle Curtis Designs. Thumbnails. 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 More thumbnails. 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 Look at all the thumbnails. He worked so hard, guys. He deserves another $40,000. Look at him go. Oh, man. YouTube owes me $40,000 for making copyrighted material that went onto their website. Look at it all. There's just so much wrongness here. It would probably give an accountant an aneurysm. Any accountants out there, please shield your eyes. These are thumbnails, thumbnails, more thumbnails. Look at all the lovely thumbnails. I should start using some of these. I should just go into this document and grab a couple and be like, oh, I kind of like that one. Oh my god, is this just this is not how you put together a profile for art. Of course, that's not what it is. Oh my god. Thumbnails, thumbnails, look at all the thumbnails. I wonder if he actually made all of these or if there were other people that were contributing to this. I'm curious to know. Oh, hey, there's King Crocoduck. Oh my templates. Some boxes on some blank background. Dude! Bro. You know you could just take these two squares and plop different backgrounds onto them, right? Like, why is this... Oh, this is just screenshots. This is just screenshots of a Google Drive. Okay. Oh, dear. You should do a stream where you try to recreate some of them and go, how hard can it be? I could do that. I mean, you guys have seen this sort of stuff I've come up with, like on Judgment Call and Caffeine Corner and my show. Look at my lovely little layout here. You know what I didn't do? Make a template. It's all just in Streamlabs. It's just... I just set it up. Exploratory Minds for 5 says 95% of Kyle's work was late in 2019 to 2021, trying to avoid the law. Again, this might have been worth looking at had he responded to this is after he posted this after the default judgment. He would have needed to post this before the default judgment, but that would have opened up investigation into all of this stuff. And so I don't know what to tell you. Oh my god. Wait, this is a video. These are the same screenshots. We saw a list of all these videos already. He's just taken another screenshot of it. We saw all this already. Okay. That's the end of this. What a bizarre ending. Okay. Other motion. 19. This is only 9 pages. Okay, State of North Carolina, Guilford County, 19 CVS 8163 in general support, in General Court of Justice, Superior Division Court, Stephen McRae, General Civil Action Cover Sheet, Subsequent Filing, Rule 5B, General Rule of Practice for Superior District Courts, Name and Address of Attorney Party not represented. Okay, so this is Kyle. And then here's Kyle putting in name of defendant, Kyle Curtis, and then for some reason there's an address here. It's not what the name and address of plaintiff, name of defendant. It's not asking for address, and there's no address put in for Steve. This is not filled out very well. Anyway, this is our first view of 2543 Anna Garrison Road, Charlotte, North Carolina, 28263. Complex litigation. Things ticked off here. Set aside and vacate, modify judgment. But I thought you said it was a letter of compliance. Why would you need to vacate or modify the judgment? You would do that after you comply. None of this is filled out. In the General Court of Justice, State of North Carolina, County of Guilford Superior Court, Division, Steve McRae, Plaintiff versus Kyle Curtis, Defendant, case number 19, CVS 8163, the Honorable James L. Gale. This is tilted, so this is something that's been scanned. This is not like just a put in like this, I think. Motion to set aside default judgment comes now. The defendant, Kyle Curtis, pro se, and for a motion to set aside a default judgment ordered against the defendant respectfully states and alleges, 1, that this motion is brought pursuant to the State of North Carolina Rules of Civil Procedure 7 and the protectants provided by the North Carolina Rule of Civil Procedure 60B, JS 1A-1, Rule 60B. 2, that on January 23rd, 2019, a default judgment was entered against defendant Kyle Curtis in this court. 3, that the defendant Kyle Curtis did not make an appearance in this action. 4, defendant Kyle Curtis, improper person pursuant to NRCP 60C, hereby moves the court for an order vacating the default and the default judgment entered herein for the reason that defendant was never served with summons and complaint herein based upon the authorities set forth below. Defendant requests an evidentiary hearing on this matter to present evidence of his residency in Charlotte, North Carolina, and not at the address stated in the earlier filings, and to cross-examine the person who allegedly served defendant with summons and complaint herein. Wait, cross-examine the person who allegedly served him, like the person who signed for that paperwork is his mom. Is he asking for a cross-examination of his mother? Surely he means Steve. Surely he means Steve. And or the opportunity to depose Deuce. I don't even know what this is. Let's look this up. Something I don't know. subpoena for production of evidence. Okay, so he's asking for a subpoena. The person who allegedly served defendant with summons and complaint. Defendant further requests that the right of execution and or right of garnishment entered herein be quashed, and that all wages garnished from defendant, if any, be returned to defendant for the reasons set forth below. Defendant further respectfully requests that pursuant to NRCP 62B, he hadn't been garnished at this point, so I don't know why this is in here, that this court stay the execution of said judgment until such time as this motion can be heard. Wherefore, defendant prays that his motion be granted and that the default judgment entered against him excuse me, in this action be set aside and the plaintiff's action be dismissed, that alternatively, if this court does not grant dismissal of plaintiff's action, that the court grant a stay of proceedings until it so pleases the court, that plaintiff be ordered to return any monies that had been collected from defendant as a result of the default judgment, that that defendant be awarded his costs herein expended for all other just and proper relief to which may be entitled. Kyle Curtis, and then February 4th, 2020, 2543 Anna Garrison Road, Charlotte, North Carolina 28263. I'm curious, I just want to see something real quick. The letter was on the 4th, and then this was submitted on the 6th. So he submitted all this stuff, like all this evidence and stuff, and then 2 days later said he never got the service. You would think that this would have shown up before this, because this would have made sense. You need to do this before you can start submitting evidence. He tried to submit evidence, argue, say he's complying with the order that he didn't receive apparently 2 days later. Okay. And that's probably why he put his address on this paperwork where it's not asking for his address. There's no address asked for here. Weird. Okay. In the General Court of Justice State, North Carolina, County of Guilford Superior Court Division, Steve McRae Plaintiff versus Kyle Curtis Defendant, case number 19 CVS 8163, Honorable James L. Gale. Brief in support of motion to set aside default judgment comes now the defendant Kyle Curtis pro se, and for his brief in support of motion respectfully states and alleges one factual background. The complaint herein was filed on August 23, 2019. Return of service of the summons and complaint was executed by mail, stating that same were served on defendant on November 20th, 2019 at 1532 Providence Church Road, Pleasant Garden, North Carolina 27313. However, defendant was never served with a summons and complaint as he no longer lived at above address. See affidavit attached here too. Default and default judgment were entered herein on January 23rd, 2020. North Carolina SGS 1A-1 Rule 60 Relief from Judgment or Order. Void Judgment Rule 60B4. A default defendant is entitled to relief under Rule 60B4 as a matter of law where the default judgment is void. The motion must be made within a reasonable time. NCRCIVP 60B. No service on the defendant, a failure to properly serve the complaint and summons on defendant is grounds for relief under Rule 60B4, Estate of Teal v. Darby at 129 NC App 604608 in 1998. With conflicting affidavits before the court concerning the crucial issue of service of process, the court should set aside this matter for evidentiary hearing and or give defendant the opportunity to depose the process server as supported by the authority cited below. I want to see if there's any, so Steve's lawyer had posted the return receipt and the received receipts. I'm curious if there's any actual receipts that have been posted in this. Constitutional degree process requires notice. It is axiomatic that notice of a lawsuit and opportunity to defend is fundamental due to process of law required by the Constitution. An elementary and fundamental requirement of due process in any proceedings which is to be accorded finality is notice reasonably calculated under all the circumstances to apprise interested parties of the pendency of the action and afford them an opportunity to present their objections. Mullane versus Cent Hanover Bank and Trusts Co. 339 U.S. 306 314 94L ED 8657 S CT 652 1950. Further personal service must be obtained in order for a court to exercise personal jurisdiction over a party. The judgment rendered without personal jurisdiction over a defendant is void. Community INS Co. versus Sullivan, 1997. Ohio, App Lexus 2836. Ohio, CT App 1997. They're citing an Ohio law. Here, or an Ohio example, a hearing is required in Casme versus Smith, 2004, Washington App Lexus 2406, Washington, again, citing Washington, 2004. The parties were involved in an automobile accident, and the trial court entered a default judgment against appellant Smith. A Florida process server had provided a declaration of service stating that he personally served Smith on September 23rd, 1997 at 7:55 p.m. at 20837 Rain Dance Lane in Boca Raton. By delivering to Smith's copies of the summons and complaint, Smith provided a declaration denying the personal service. The trial court denied Smith's motion without an evidentiary hearing. On appeal, the Court of Appeals of Washington vacated the judgment, stating that the conflicting declarations on whether Smith was personally served and thus subject to the jurisdiction of the court required an evidentiary hearing to resolve the credibility of witnesses on that point. Can we also mention again that Kyle is explaining this to a complex business court? The affidavits and conflicting declaration of service presented an issue of fact that could only be resolved by determining the credibility of the witnesses. The Court of Appeals of Washington said, quote, a court may abuse its discretion by failing to hold an evidentiary hearing when affidavits present an issue of fact whose resolution require a determination of witness credibility. Casme Supra 2004, Washington App Lexus at 5. In Moore versus Baker, we're getting the judge is getting a lesson from Kyle about Washington law or previous Washington cases. In Moore versus Baker 982 SW2D 286 Motion App 1998, Baker was named as a defendant in a suit initiated by Moore after the parties were involved in a car accident. Service of process was made by leaving the papers at a fraternity house. According to the deputy sheriff's return, the deputy served Baker on August 24th, 1997. At a fraternity house near a University of Missouri, Kansas City. A default judgment was entered, and Baker subsequently filed a motion to set aside the default judgment based on a claim of insufficient service of process, alleging that he did not live at the fraternity house on the alleged date of service. The circuit court overruled the motion to set aside without conducting an evidentiary hearing. The Missouri Court of Appeals found that the lower court erred in failing to conduct an evidentiary hearing on Baker's motion, saying, when a party avers a prima facie basis under Rule 74.05D for setting aside a default judgment, the circuit court is obligated to convene an evidentiary hearing to give the moving party an opportunity to establish good cause. Boatman's First National Bank versus Kreider, 802 SW2D 531532, motion App 1991, because the circuit court did not understand its obligation and summarily overruled Baker's motion without any evidentiary hearing. Oh, dear. Oh, my other stream is super duper late now. Let's continue. Summarily overruled Baker's motion without an evidentiary hearing. We remand the case to the circuit court so that it can convene a hearing to receive evidence concerning Baker's averments. This is probably why the judge ended up deciding to, like, this is actually probably good in the case that it didn't get the motion overturned, but it did kick off the depositions and stuff, right? So but now we're talking about credibility. And that was mostly just because of Ben. So you can see why the judge just later made decisions that led to giving Kyle more and more opportunities, because he did not want Kyle to appeal. That's what it seems to me, at least. More Supra 982 SWD 2D at 288 Accord Stan Katz Real Estate Inc. versus Chavez 565 P2D 1142-1143 Utah 1977 on issues involving service of process and whether defendant's usual place of abode was with his mother. The Supreme Court of Utah said, when no depositions have been taken and disputed material facts are alleged in opposing affidavits, there should be an evidentiary hearing to aid the resolution of those facts. TCC Management Inc. versus Clapp pursuant to the terms of Rule 62B. Defendant respectfully requests that execution of the judgments be stayed pending the hearing for motion, as the amount of money being withheld pursuant to right are beyond what the defendant can reasonably afford and are limiting the defendant's overall ability to pay for life necessities. Thus, the defendant requests a stay of execution pending the evidentiary hearing before this court. Turning over the channel is not the same as your wages getting garnished, which has not happened because you're in North Carolina. And because you're in contempt. Conclusion. Defendant is accordingly entitled to an order vacating the default and the default judgment entered herein for the reason that defendant was never served with the summons and complaint herein. Defendant requests an evidentiary hearing on this matter to present evidence of his residency in Charlotte, North Carolina, and not at the address stated in earlier filings, and to cross-examine the person who allegedly served defendant with summons and complaint herein. Defendant also requests the execution of the judgment be stayed pending the deposition of the motion. Dated this 4th day of February 2020. Respectfully submitted. Signature Kyle Curtis. Lovely signature you got there, Kyle. 2543 Anna Garrison Road, Charlotte, North Carolina 28263, dated February 4th, 2020. So, there's another bit here. Okay, so before we go to the other bit, he was granted most of this, but except for the execution of the judgment was not stayed. The execution of the judgment has been in place since January of 2020 and is still stayed. In the General Court of Justice, State of North Carolina, County of Guilford, Superior Court Division, Stephen McRae Plaintiff versus Kyle Curtis Defendant, case number 19 CVS 8163, the Honorable James L. Gale. Affidavit of Kyle Curtis, the affiant Kyle Curtis, being first duly sworn, testifies as follows. I was never served with a summons and complaint in the above titled case. Court documents state that the summons was sent to 1532 Providence Church Road, Pleasant Garden, North Carolina 27313 on November 20th, 2019. The address above has not been 3. The address above has not been my residence since July 15th, 2019, and can you provide the court with evidence of rent payments at current address at 2435 Anna Garrison Road, Charlotte, North Carolina, 28263. Further affidavit saith not giant swirly. 5th day of February 2020. So he signed this the next day. And then there's the notary. Ba-doop. One more to go. So let's see his other motion. Case number 219, CVS 8163, ECF number 17, dated Monday, February 11th, 2020, State of North Carolina, Guilford County, Stephen McRae, plaintiff versus Kyle Russell Curtis, defendant. Attention, Honorable Judge James L. Gale, North Carolina Business Court, blah, 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 emails. Motion to set aside with prejudice and stay all proceedings until this motion is addressed. I don't think that would be with prejudice. I don't think that would ever... I can't imagine how that would ever be the case with something like this, but what do I know? Dear Sir, I request to motion the court to set aside case with prejudice and stay all proceedings until this motion is addressed. I also ask that the court to have the above referenced case and default judgment immediately set aside with prejudice and a stay on all proceedings until this motion is addressed. The law requires that the summons and complaint be delivered to my primary address or dwelling if using certified mail. Usual place of abode. The plaintiff knowingly used an old address to improperly serve me the complaint and summons. The plaintiff admits to using my old address in an effort to use the court system to his own ends. As evidence of this wrongdoing by the plaintiff, I have included the plaintiff's admission on video. The plaintiff says he knew I moved and sent the paperwork to the wrong address on purpose. The plaintiff says this on his YouTube channel to thousands of people, making a mockery of our legal system. I have provided the recording to the court and links to the plaintiff's video and admission here. Please tell me this doesn't have a timestamp. No, I want to see it. Oh, whoops. Hold on. I hit the wrong button. No, go back. No! How could you do this to me? No! Oh, I hit the wrong button. I meant to copy paste it. Son of a bitch! Hold on. I'll fix it. I'm sorry. I was doing so well. Other motion. Here we go. Okay. Sorry. My bad. I just want to copy paste it. Give me this. Okay, so it's not a timestamp. It's just a clip of one of Steve's videos. Steve, you should copyright strike this. All right. Let's hear.
Very well, and I said, okay, great. Then I'll show people how to find it. But I did note, and Jimmy saw this, that the information on there was old. That was Kyle's old address. People had known that he had moved. He moved in with his boyfriend, which I don't have the address for.
Kyle moved on July 15th. The address above was not my residence since July. Okay. Oh, that's the signature of supposedly Kyle's mom. This is the signature on the thing. So how it works is that this is supposed to be going on. Oh my god. This is Nate Brody's other channel. Oh, Captain Clippy? No, say it ain't so. Okay, I'll keep playing. See if there's any other.
I wouldn't say several days. A couple days after he was served.
So you notice how Steve doesn't say, I knew. He's saying people knew. Right?
Right? I mean, so he had plans to move, whether he was avoiding service or not, I don't know. But the address on there was old, wasn't relevant any longer. Even if it was, it still wasn't doxing because it was public information. So
So you notice how this is clipped in a way that takes out he's talking about what people knew and what he found out after the fact. Like, this is, you notice how he keeps saying had and people and knew in the past tense? He's talking about how people knew about this and that he had moved and he might have moved to avoid service. He doesn't know.
There was two things that would definitely prevent it from being doxing. One, it was already public, and two, more especially, I think, to be the case that it was not even correct information any longer.
Yes, it wasn't public. So, in response to this one, let's get back to this. I will be calling the plaintiff himself as a witness in an evidentiary hearing, which never happened. At this time, there is no controversy. There is no controversy about whether the service was improper. The plaintiff admits that it was not on video. The plaintiff's admission and the evidence provided make it clear that this judgment should be set aside in the interest of justice. The plaintiff has lied to the court and served the wrong address to deprive me of my day in court. I ask that this court case be dismissed with prejudice to warn others who want to deceive the court system and not violate others' rights. Lease agreement. Oh, it's the lease agreement. Lease agreement, bank states, tax forms, video plaintiff stating he was aware of improper serving and fraudulent serving, affidavits from witness, mom, landlord. I attest that this is a true statement and the plaintiff's lawyer had been correctly served in this motion. Respectfully, signature of Kyle. In the General Court of Justice, State of North Carolina. I do want to show you guys something real quick. Just since this is now coming up, I'm just going to show you guys something just really quick that's on my channel over here. Let me just find it real quick. I'm sure it won't take me too long. Let's see. Oh, huh.
I had to, what I did was, in the original, papers that I was served,
Hi, thanks for checking in. I'm still a piece of garbage. In the General Court, so you've got one thing that's been clearly clipped out, and then another thing that is the full context. In the General Court of Justice, it couldn't be the case that a certain lawyer may have been trying to aid and abet a criminal. No collusion. In the General Court of Justice, State of North Carolina, County of Guilford, Superior Court Division, Stephen McRae, plaintiff versus Kyle Curtis, defendant, case number 19 CVS 8163, the Honorable James L. Gale. Motion to set aside default judgment. Comes now defendant Kyle Curtis pro se, and for motion to set aside a default judgment ordered against the defendant respectfully states and alleges: 1. This motion is brought to the pursuant in the North Carolina Rules of Civil Procedure 7 and the protections provided by North Carolina Civil Procedure 60B GS 1A-1 Rule 60B. That on January 23rd, 2019, a default judgment was entered against defendant Kyle Curtis in this court, that the defendant Kyle Curtis did not make an appearance in this action, and defendant Kyle Curtis, in proper person pursuant of NRCP 60C, hereby moves the court for an order vacating the default and the default judgment entered herein for the reason that defendant was never served with summons and complaint herein and based upon the authorities set forth below. See, as soon as I'm actually reading the legal documentation, I can do that. I just couldn't handle his letter. Oh God. All right. Defendant requests an evidentiary hearing on this matter to present evidence of the residency in Charlotte, North Carolina, and not Oh, hey, Puck, you get some boops because there's been some super chats. Boop, 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 boop. Easy, good boy. Defendant requests an evidentiary hearing on this matter to present evidence of his residency in Charlotte, North Carolina, and not at the address stated in earlier filings, to cross-examine the person who allegedly served defendant with summons and complaint herein, and or the opportunity to depose Ducis Tectum. I don't know how to pronounce it. The person who allegedly served defendant with summons. That's the subpoena. Defendant with summons and complaint. Defendant further requests that a right of execution and or a right of garnishment entered herein be quashed. I didn't see any garnishment stuff, but okay. And that all wages garnished from defendant, if any, be returned to defendant. And since Steve has gotten nothing. Oh my, Inkboy, whatever you said, I'm seeing meshes deleted by Google moderator team. I don't know what you said, but this is what it chose. Okay. Alright. Sorry, I guess what the? Okay. Hi, Google moderating team. Welcome to the stream of this guy stealing a YouTube channel. Maybe you should get YouTube legal involved and get the channel sent back to the guy who actually owns it as per the default judgment that we're talking about. Thanks, Google moderating team. I appreciate you. And all that all wages garnished from defendant, if any, be returned to defendant for the reasons set forth below. Defendant further respectfully requests pursuant to NRCP 62B that this court stay in execution of said judgment until such time as the motion can be heard. And what did the judge say to staying that judgment? Say it with me now. A resounding no. Wherefore, defendant prays that his motion be granted and that the default judgment entered against him in this action will action be set aside and that plaintiff's actions be dismissed. That alternatively, if this court does not grant dismissal of plaintiff's actions, that this court grant a stay of proceedings until it so pleases the court, that plaintiff be ordered to return any monies that be collected from defendant as a result of the default judgment, that defendant be awarded his costs herein expended for all other just and proper relief which may be entitled. Respectfully submitted, Kyle Curtis, 2543 Anna Garrison Road, Charlotte, North Carolina, 28263, dated February 4th, 2020. Ooh, Rodent No Last Name for Two says, Kyle wants to cross-examine the mailman, laughing emoji. Okay, so there's only 3 people he could be deposing and cross-examining. It's either Steve, which seems to be what he's implying, the mailman, or the post office, or his mother who signed for it. I don't know, but those are the only 3 people that could be examined over this. And since Steve never touched any paperwork that was handed to him, I don't think... I don't know. Okay. Listen, if I'm gonna have Google moderation, I hope I've hit that algorithm. Hey. I am not even looking to see how many people are watching right now. I'm just trying to get through this. In the General Court of Justice State of North Carolina, in the General Court of Justice State of North Carolina County of Guilford Superior Court Division, Stephen McCrae, plaintiff, versus Kyle Curtis, defendant. It doesn't say Russell this time. Case number 19 CVS 8163, the Honorable James L. Gale. Brief in support of motion to set aside default judgment comes now defendant Kyle Curtis pro se, and for his brief in support of motion respectfully states and alleges one factual background. The complaint herein was filed on August 23rd, 2019. Return of service of the summons complaint was executed by mail stating that same were served on defendant on November 20th, 2019 at 1532 Providence Church Road, Pleasant Garden, North Carolina 27313. However, defendant was never served with a summons and complaint as he no longer lived at above address. See affidavit attached here too. Default and default judgment were entered herein on January 23rd, 2020. It is 2021 April, and we have the contempt hearing on May 11th. Friendly reminder. Civil contempt, specifically. NCGSA1, Rule 60, relief from judgment or order, void judgment, Rule 60b4. A defaulting defendant is entitled to relief under Rule 60b4 as a matter of law where the default judgment is void. The motion must be made within a reasonable time, NCRCIVP 60b. No service on the defendant, a failure to properly serve the complaint and summons on defendant is grounds for relief under Rule 60b4, Estate of Teal v. Darby, 129, North Carolina, App 604-608, 1998. With conflicting affidavits before the court concerning the crucial issue of service of process, the court should set this matter for evidentiary hearing and or give defendant the opportunity to depose the process server as supported by the authorities cited below. Constitutional due process requires notice. It is axiomatic that I feel like we read this already. It's axiomatic that the notice of law and suit and opportunity to defend the fundamental due to process of law as required by the Constitution. We did read this. This was the one that was tilted slightly and wasn't actually this is now the layout of this. We read this already. I'm skipping it. We read all this. Like, go back 30 minutes and you'll be seeing this again. We'll just skip to the conclusion. Conclusion, defendant is because this is just reading out what happened in Utah and then what happened in Washington. There's the Kansas one. Where's the Washington one? It's here, right? Yeah, Washington. There's Washington there. So we went over this, so I'm just gonna jump forward because we read it already. In the General Court of Justice State of North Carolina, County of Guilford, Superior Court Division, Stephen McCrae, plaintiff versus Kyle Curtis, defendant, case number 19 CVS 8163, the Honorable James L. Gale, affidavit of Kyle Curtis. This is the one we read already. There's the 5th of February, which we read. There's the notary, transcript of plaintiff admission to incorrect service. This is what Steve said in the video, which we played, so... And then you can see the ellipses of where there were cuts in the video. Thanks, Captain Clippy. Rental agreement, month-to-month, date, July 15th. Ooh, this is the spicy. Here's his evidence. Rental agreement, month-to-month, date, July 15th, 2019. Agreement between Benjamin Potts, owners, and Kyle Curtis, tenants, for a dwelling located at 2543 Anna Garrison Road, Charlotte, North Carolina 28263, location. Tenants agree to rent this dwelling on a month-to-month basis for $600 per month, payable in advance on the 20th day of the calendar month, for which owners will give tenants a rebate/discount of $100. First month's rent for this dwelling is $600. The security/cleaning deposit of this dwelling is $300. It is refundable if tenants leave the dwelling reasonably clean and undamaged. Tenants will give 30 days notice in writing before they move and will be responsible for paying rent through the end of this noticed period or until another tenant approved by the owners have moved in, whichever comes first. Owners will refund all deposits within 14 days after tenants have moved out completely and return the keys. Only the following 1 persons and 0 pets are to live in this dwelling described as, without owner's prior permission, written permission, or any other persons may live there, and no other pets may stay there, even temporarily, nor may the dwelling be sublet or used for business purposes. Use of the following is included in the rent. Remarks, if any, nothing. Tenants agree to the following: 1, to accept the dwelling as is, having already expected it to keep yard and garbage areas clean, 3, to keep from making loud noises and disturbances, and to play music and broadcast programs at all times so as not to disturb other people's peace and quiet. 4, not to paint the dwelling without first getting owner's written permission. 5, to park motor vehicles in assigned spaces and keep that space clean of oil drippings and grease. 6, not to repair motor vehicles on the premises unless it unless it is in an enclosed garage, if such repairs will take longer than a day. 7, to allow owners to inspect the dwelling, work on, or show it to prospective tenants at any time and all reasonable times. 8, not to keep any liquid-filled furniture in this dwelling. No waterbeds, guys. 9, to pay rent by check or money order made out to the owners. Return checks will have applicable late payment fees. Well, I mean, there should be checks then. Just, To pay for any repairs of all damage they or their guests have caused. 11, to pay for any windows broken in the dwelling while they live there. I mean, these two are the same thing. Violation of any part of this agreement or non-payment of rent when due shall be cause for eviction under applicable code sections. The prevailing party shall not recover reasonable legal service fees involved. Tenants hereby acknowledge that they have read this agreement, understand it, agreed to it, and have been given a copy. Benjamin Potts, 07/15/2019. Tenant Kyle Curtis, 07/15/2019. Discover cashback debit account number ending in 8942. Statement period August. Thank you very much, April. I appreciate that. Statement period August 01, August 31st, 2019, page 1 of 3. Blanked out stuff. Kyle Curtis, 2543 Anna Garrison Road, Charlotte, North Carolina. 28263, deposit slip, account number ending in 8942. List of spending. Deposits may not be available for immediate withdrawal. Do not send cash or staple checks in this form. Mail to Discover Bank, P.O. Box 30417, Salt Lake City, UT 84130. Discover account ending in 8942, statement November 1st, 2019 to November 30th, 2019, page 1 of 3. Blah, 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 blacked out. Kyle R. Curtis, 2543 Anna Garrison Road, Charlotte, North Carolina, 28263. Deposit slip, account number and ending in 8942. Blank. Deposits, blah, 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 blah. Payers tin 8438953990. Recipients tin XXX-SX-752. Recipient's name Kyle Curtis. Street address included 2543 Anna Garrison Road. Everything else is blacked out. Affidavit of residence. Date February 10th, 2020. Suzanne Curtis. To whom this may concern, I, Suzanne Curtis, formally acknowledge Kyle Curtis as living at the street address of 2543 Anna Garrison Road, City of Charlotte, State of North Carolina, 28263 since July 16th, 2019. I swear and affirm under penalty of perjury that the facts set forth in the statement are true and accurate. I wonder, sincerely, Suzanne Curtis, I'm kind of curious if this goes to criminal for perjury, if Kyle's mom is going to get pulled in to either be deposed or questioned or something during a trial. Not that I wish anything upon her, I'm just curious if that will be the case. Once we get Non Sequitur back, I'm still going to keep following this because I want to know what happens later. I'm so curious now. I need to follow the whole thing. Affidavit of residence, Benjamin Potts, date February 10th, 2020. To whom it may concern, I, Benjamin Potts, formally acknowledge Kyle Curtis as living at the street address of 2543 Anna Garrison Road, City of Charlotte, State of North Carolina, 28263 since July 16th, 2019. I swear and affirm under penalty of perjury that the facts set forth in the statement are true and accurate. Sincerely, Benjamin Potts. And that is the end of what Kyle had to say on the matter. Whew, that's a lot. That was a lot. 57 pages of nonsense. I'm so glad I skipped like the number crunching. You guys can do number crunching on your own. I ain't touching that shit. The next up is a bunch of Steve's lawyer responding to all of that. But there is one thing that I do want to note. in the first thing we covered, 18/02/04/2020, this letter had the evidence of the monies that were owed to who and why, supposedly. It didn't have any substantial evidence, but it had the money crunching, and it had the passwords. So he never handed over the channel. There was nothing in this letter order of compliance that was actually complying with anything. All it said was, here's how I'm not complying, and here's how I don't have to comply. But it said nothing about not receiving anything. 2 days later, this gets submitted asking for a motion to set aside the judgment that he said he was complying to and never complied to, and still hasn't complied to. And then 6 days later, a revised with more information in it. So there you go. But next off, we get to cover Steve's lawyer's response. That was 57 pages of perjury. That's, I mean, spoilers. I don't know. I guess we're gonna have to wait and see. If it seems pretty convincing that Kyle lived in that place. So if he had that, even though he should have had receipts for his rent, but he decided not to put those in for some reason. I don't know, but he's saying he was never served. And I'll end us with this. And don't forget to like, share, subscribe. I'll be back in like an hour or so. I gotta rest my voice for a minute, and then I want to talk about the Richard Dawkins situation. So I'll see you guys in like an hour or two. But next time we'll take a look at Steve's response and the lawyer's response to all this. And I'll leave you guys with this.
I had to. What I did was, in the original papers that I was served. 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 Papers that I was served.
Go check out the Bin podcast. They're live right now. And I'll see you guys next time, or in an hour or two. Bye.